All right, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite saxophone manufacturers, that's Yamaha. We're going to take a look at the 875, 875EX, the differences, and also the 82Z and what major changes they made to it from the first version to the second version, and to compare the two bores. We're also going to talk about the necks available to them, the differences between the necks, and a couple other oddities that they talk about, the thumb rest and thumb hook. So we're going to get right to that. One of the first things I want to bring up is from the 2015 catalog. This is talking about using a metal thumb hook and a thumb rest. If you read this, it says this optional metal thumb hook, which is your right thumb, of course, and the thumb rest, which is your left thumb, of course, provide an excellent response with a wider dynamic range in addition to a smooth tone and stable sound. So they're claiming going to a metal thumb hook and thumb rest gives a smoother tone and more stable sound. And what they say here is next is individually, basically the thumb hook, your right hand on the lower part of the horn, impacts the high and mid range of the saxophone. And the thumb rest near the top of your left thumb, of course, impacts the lower range. And these are apparently available by special order. There's really nothing special about them. They're just, made of brass apparently. And this goes along the range, I guess, of high mass thumb screws and other high mass areas you can do in the instrument. But this is something I've never read before until I was reading through the 2015 catalog. So something very interesting to keep in mind. If you've seen this before and if you bought this, has it impacted your sound and response in your horn? Put comments down below if it has. But this is some very interesting information from Yamaha. What we see here is the V1, E1, C1, and sterling silver necks for the altos and tenor models. The V1 we see here is a larger bore neck, which I assume the bore going into the body is the same size, so the opening bore must be also larger or something. But I'm not really sure. I've never examined these four various necks over time. The E1 has more of a gradual bore, as it says. Gives excellent control of the airflow for quick response to superb intonation. C1 is the smallest bore taper, and of course the sterling silver model, which doesn't say which bore it uses, but those are the four types of necks you can get for the altos and tenors. We're going to take a look at a couple catalog items here. This is the EX. We can see some changes that they made in here in their definitions here. From the original 875 to the EX, down here you can read more ergonomic key layout, new production technique for the bow for easier low register playability. And one of the key things here is the size and placement of the body tone holes in the left hand keys. From another article I read, were revised. They were actually made a little bit smaller from what I read to improve the intonation in the middle register and improve the response a bit. Of course, it goes on, the bell brace, talks about the bell brace 2-point contact, the one-piece brass bell gives a better response. And we'll see how that varies and how the 82Z changed from a two-piece hydroformed to single piece, just like the 875. Now, real quickly, the 82Z had at one point used the V1 neck, which was a wide bore neck, and also used metal resonators versus plastic resonators. Right here, this is from the 2003 82Z catalog, and this mentions the 82Z first features a two-piece hydroformed bell, which from what I recall was a special alloy. And I remember playing 875 and the original 82Z side by side, and I really did not like the 82Z. It wasn't as full tonal color and didn't have the depth of tone that I preferred in my own preference, of course. Everyone varies. But we do know the 82Z also went towards and was converted to the way the 875 bell is later on, and we'll get to that. Going on also from the 2003 82Z catalog, it mentions they went from a special alloy, it seems, to French brass, still a two-piece bell, which was the way the 62 was also done. But we know the latest A2Z has one-piece hand hammer bell from brass, just like the 875. But what's really interesting is in the catalog, you can see what the most various differences are is the taper shape of the bore itself. On the right-hand side, we can see it right here. And we see the 875 taper shape is basically more consistently conical, whereas the 82Z shape appears to be cylindrical near the top and then becomes more megaphone-like conical after, say, the G on the lower half of the instrument. So when one play tests these, you really have to be mindful. If you're a very sensitive player, very sensitive ear, where you can hear a difference between resonators and you can feel the difference of pressure in your mouth and the back pressure, really, this may make a difference. And this helps in the way the horn responds to your playing, or maybe not respond to your playing. But the primary difference you see here is the 875 is more classical shape taper. The 82Z is a new type of shaper tape. Now, we'd love to have an alto or tenor pair of these in my hands, both same generation type, and measure them out to see how much they actually vary, in millimeters. But I don't have that luxury right now. Hopefully sometime in the future I'll be able to do this. If someone's in Southeast Michigan and has both of these horns, or one of them, would like to stop by for an hour, let me measure things out. I'd love to see what those numbers are. Anyways, I hope that last part really gives you insight on the design difference between the 875 and the 82Z, other than the 82Z's evolution, primarily in their bell design. And of course, the bore is massively different between the two, at least shape-wise. So keep that in mind next time you play test one, and take a good look at how your current horn is designed and see how the horn you're play testing is. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. Give a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you later.